Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is another general knowledge reaction, and this is a video called Really Interesting Maps You Need to See. You know how it is with me, I like seeing sort of maps, just sort of that to show statistics about all the just random things. I'm not sure about any particular individual things this will be talking about, or just if it's going to be on a specific country or if it's going to be on maps around the world. I'm not too sure, but I do enjoy these kinds of videos. I find these really fun to just sort of see and understand different things, and it helps you sort of understand like possibly like differences in cultures in like throughout the world, or just all those different sort of things that maybe you wouldn't expect to know before. And it just helps you gauge your sort of opinions on certain places as well. But I don't know, I'm interested in seeing this. I do like this channel a lot, so I do look forward to his videos, and this one in particular excited me and just intrigued me into wanting to see more. But yeah, let's get into this one. Quick shout out to my Instagram, quick shout out to my Twitter, links in the description for those. Same for my second channel. We're so close to 15k on the second channel, which is incredible, so I just want to thank you all for that. But let's get into this one and let's see what this video is about and what maps we need to see, man, as the title says.
Maps are amazing. They show us the world and sometimes provide us with interesting information or statistics regarding
What has he done to the UK and Ireland, man? What has he done?
the area which is represented. So in this video, I want to show you guys a few maps that
drawing,
I
honestly.
found really interesting, either because of
Psych.
when they were made, the way they look, or the data we get to learn from them. So here we go. First, the map on the thumbnail. This map gives us a comparative look at how land is used in the United States of America.
I did see this one.
Obviously, the area itself, in terms of regions, isn't accurate. It's just displayed this way, so we get an idea of how big they are in comparison to.
I remember seeing this before, and it's like golf. Golf has its own section. What? Like, wait, that's just crazy. But it goes to show how big golf is. And I know, like, is it Donald Trump who loves golf? He's got like his own golf places in like Scotland and stuff like that, and just things like that. Rural housing, food. I saw this before. Wildfires, timber clear cut cow. Look at the cow pasture range. Let's just look at the dominance from that.
Each other.
The
I
absolute
was
dominance.
really surprised by the gigantic amount of land that they have dedicated to cow pastures. It is a lot. I was also surprised by the amount of corporate timberland, which I imagine is the land where companies grow and cut trees to use/sell the wood. I was really surprised by how small, at least in comparison, the area dedicated to national and state parks is. It's crazy how golf fields take up more space in the US than do their plantations of maple syrup. Although I guess it's more of a Canadian thing. But I mean, how many golf courts do you really need? And also, the 100 largest landowning families hold an amount of territory equivalent to the state of Florida. That is a lot. Speaking of America, I found another really amazing map about the North of America too. This is how the region looked like about 77 million years ago.
How do they know this stuff? So this is like Chile. This is like, wait, it's not, because this is North America. Wait, am I stupid? This looks like South. This looks like where am I dumb? Wait.
Consisting of around 4 major.
If this is North America, this isn't Chile, because this is the US, or like Canada, and like Mexico.
Islands, and the rest being ocean. In the background, you can see the current continental lines. It's so weird to think how different our world looked a few years ago. It is crazy, honestly. In this case, so much of it was submerged, although in a few cases, parts of the ocean were at the surface. Also, the Caribbean seems as if they were dislocated to the south, but maybe those islands have nothing to do with our current Caribbean, and it's just a coincidence that they are there. The yellow squares on the map represent sites where dinosaur fossils were found. Speaking of places where certain species are found, here is a map of the global distribution of flamingos. flamingos. This surprised me for
Wait,
two
what?
reasons. One, how big the range of flamingos is, and the fact that they are found on the majority of Earth's continents, which is weird because they are places with very different climates. But another surprise was the lack of flamingos in certain areas. I'm sure there's some logical explanation, but it seems kind of weird that a species that is present in so many places wouldn't be present in more. I mean, why are they present in almost all of South America except Colombia and Brazil? And why is the little bit of Africa the only part of the eastern coastline that doesn't serve as home to the magnificent pink animals?
That is
Also,
actually a
why
good
does
point.
Nepal have flamingos according to
Apparently they're in Europe. I've never seen it. Actually, I have seen a flamingo at the zoo, which is a bit different, but I didn't even know. I thought they were just like in the Caribbean, like Florida, and like the coastal sort of areas of like South America and stuff like that. I didn't realize they were like spread, and obviously parts of Africa. Didn't realize they were so spread out around the world. It's a random one, but it's
this
interesting
map,
to say the
and
least.
why does Australia and almost all of East Asia not have any? The next map is about empires. Whenever we talk about history's big empires, usually two of them come up: the Romans and the Mongols, with argument
The UK or whatever empire, I don't even care. I was just expecting the UK, not gonna lie. But yeah, the Roman and the Mongols for
over
sure.
how the
I was just
Mongol
joking.
Empire was bigger, but the Romans had a more organized system of administration, and so their effective rule over the land was bigger, amongst other discussions. In this map, we can see the two empires side by side. Now, if you don't know, it's important to note that they
This is the Roman, this is the Mongol for sure.
did not coexist at all. They are just present in the same map here so that it's easier for
That's why they
us to
both had the same
compare them.
land.
The Mongol Empire is definitely bigger, there's no doubt about that, but I do agree to some extent that the Roman Empire is more impressive. Maybe it's just European bias, I'll admit that, but I do feel like a good amount of the Mongol Empire was just empty land and deserts, while the Romans subjugated entire civilizations. But then again, the Mongols conquered China, so it doesn't really get more impressive than that. It's also cool to see how they overlapped in some of their controlled territory, making it so that these regions in blue and red stripes have a really interesting history of being able to say they were part of two of the greatest and most significant empires in history. This next map is the most interesting one for me. It shows us the educational background of world leaders.
Let me move this up. Wait, let me just move the webcam up a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Oh, well. That's not what I wanted to happen. Well, shit. Ah, shit. Please work. So I made that a bit smaller, then I'll move it up there. Oh, that doesn't work. Here? Does that work? We'll try it out and see what happens, alright? Yeah, let's just see if it annoys. I just want people to be able to see this bit because that's probably the important thing for this.
For each country and overall.
Well, let's go
now
back.
The colors you
Just so I can actually remember what I was saying.
for me. It shows us the educational background of world leaders for each country and overall. Now, the colors used for each of the areas isn't very optimized, if you will, because some of them are too similar to get a clear idea when you look at the map. Politics and economics is the most common education area for world leaders, with 41
Which you would
countries,
expect,
followed by
right?
law at 35. I was surprised by a few of these. One of them is number 3 at military. I know historically a lot of leaders have been military figures, but in modern times I was surprised that this is still the case, with the majority of those being in Africa. One that's surprisingly low is public policy and administration, with only 7 worldwide, although counting with a pretty big one, France. Keep in mind this data is from 2018, so some cases might have changed already. Math.
So that's interesting to me because I would have always assumed that politics is what they would have all had to come from, but obviously seeing this and from seeing learning about videos throughout the world, just from seeing the videos that I've been watching and reacting to, you do sort of learn and realize a lot of the people in charge of these countries, or however you want to put it, aren't actually necessarily political. They just sort of, it is a political job, but they come from different backgrounds. Arts and humanities, different kinds of things, man. It is interesting for sure.
This is also kind of low, with only 10 world leaders having a numbers
World leaders,
background,
that's the
but
one.
also counting with a major country, Germany. And then arts and humanities is, although surprisingly, thankfully high up at number 4. Also, remember that I have no idea if this map, or any of them for that matter, are fully accurate. In this case, they don't really explain if they're analyzing leaders in terms of head of state or head of government. So in the UK, for instance, is it the Prime Minister or the Queen? Back to a map about the US. This one isn't about leaders, but the population itself. This map...
Oh, now it's here. I want to cry. It's missing German, which is blue, which is this blue, and African American, which is purple, this sort of purple here, just because that's the ones that doesn't show.
Map shows us the largest ancestry groups in the US by county, also giving us
German influence. I knew there was a huge German influence there, but that is something I wouldn't have expected. And also, like, when you realise, like, England invaded, or Britain invaded the US, and they, like, controlled this sort of coastal area, and then, I would have expected this area to be dominated by sort of, like, English, which it is pretty high up. But then you see this side, there's a lot here as well, which is kind of surprising. You got down here, which is Mexican, which makes sense. Here, which is... She's probably going to say it, but Native American. It's actually so interesting seeing this kind of stuff. Scandinavian up here. French up here, which is like Vermont and stuff. This is actually really interesting.
A general idea of states and the US as a whole.
Italian because of like New York, isn't it? The Italian influence in New York. It's so interesting, like seeing the difference, and you see the difference in cultures and all that kind of stuff.
Now again, to whoever makes these maps, choose colors that are different. Why is French and Japanese almost the same tone of yellow? But moving on from that, I was pretty surprised at some of the results. I had no idea that so much of the US population had German ancestry. It seems to be the most common in number of counties, although less people live in these areas, so it's not the biggest ancestry group in terms of real numbers. English comes next, followed by African Americans and Mexicans. I was also surprised by a few others, the amount of Scandinavians up north, the fact that there are still significant Native American populated counties, especially in Oklahoma, and some Inuit people in Alaska as well. And we should also note the Italian and Irish majorities in the northeast coast around New York, Boston, etc. But like I said, these represent the number of counties where each ancestry group has the majority. They don't represent which ancestry group has the most people, because the US have a very odd population distribution. This map shows us exactly that, with the same amount of people living in the orange areas as in the red. Both east and west coastlines
that is insane, bro. That is absolutely insane. That is insane, man.
Have as much people as over half the territory. This is even more radical in some other places, like Australia for instance, where in this map we see that only 2% of the country's population lives in the yellow area.
I know why, but that is also crazy because of like the desert and the outback, and it's just the heat there is just ridiculous.
Really crazy. Those lacks of balance when it comes to population over the territory sometimes lead to arguments of how the land should be reorganized in certain countries, especially having to do with political representation. But speaking of land reorganization, here is a map of the US, but with a slightly different division. These are the 20 air traffic control zones of the US, which are not at all similar to their state lines. Florida alone has 2, for instance, but the Salt Lake Zone controls almost 5 different states. Speaking of different land organization, in 1992, a man called Freddie Heineken proposed a map depicting what could be, in his view, a viable United States of Europe, consisting of 74 Federalist states. But it's interesting how some countries would remain whole. Portugal, for instance, Greece and Hungary, while others would be very much divided, like Spain, Italy, France, or Germany. Also,
wait, let's just get this. 12 gang stand up, that's where I am, baby. Let's go. We've got a whole section for us. Oh, I love to see it. I don't know why though, because this area's got no population. There's barely any population here at all. But I mean, I'll take it. But it's crazy how that's the case. Like this is, let's just say this population here. I mean, it actually comes into London. So let's just say 5 million. I'd say maybe 6, maybe more actually. Maybe let's go to like 10 million. And then this country's what? I don't know what the population of Portugal is, but I assume it's pretty high, like in the 20, 30 millions, right? But I mean, I'll take it. But it is interesting again, like how some countries aren't cut into like sections and some are.
Spain, Italy, France, or Germany. Also, this division here of Serbia, Albania, and Montenegro would not cause any trouble at all. This next one is one I'm pretty sure I've already shown in previous videos.
You good?
But I always keep coming back to it because it's just fascinating to me.
Oh.
This is our world, but upside down. The fact that we map our continents the way that we do is just conventional to my understanding. So what if we decided that north was down and south was up? It's weird how the exact same land looks entirely different, and our perspective of it changes as well. Another fantastic one is also one I previously showed in part, but now have in full, and it's this one. A map.
I actually just want to see where England... I'm kind of tripped out by this. Where is England? Oh, here. Or Britain, should I say. England, UK. Look at us, bro. That's so weird. That is so weird. That is so strange. Mate, that is wild. That is so weird.
As well. Another fantastic one is also one I previously showed in part, but now have in full, and it's this one. A map or graph, if you will, which shows us the continent of America and the countries that are along the same latitude lines. It's very weird to see how different countries with somewhat different climates coexist along the same latitudes. For instance, it's weird for me that Portugal is at the same latitude as New York and Japan, or that the UK is up there with Canada, that Namibia...
Portugal gets hot. It's hot.
...goes along to Australia, or that Cameroon are on the same lines as Indonesia. And finally, this map of Africa, which shows us the locations of giraffes and the distribution of the different types of patterns that they have. First of all, I had no idea that giraffes have different patterns according to their subspecies or something, but it's also cool to see how they vary according to region. And those are a few maps I found interesting and wanted to share with you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy them and the associated information and statistics that we kind of get from them. Subscribe if you want to catch more videos, and I will see you next time.
Shout out to this guy, man. Shout out to this guy. Check him out if you haven't already. His videos are so interesting. I love them so much. I really do enjoy his channel, man. And I love maps, so it's just fun to see these most random sort of facts in maps. The first map of the thumbnail. Actually, let's just move this back down. Hey, what's happening here? Oh, I am having a stinker. Come on, lad. Let's get back down there. Go on, lad. Let's go. Big face again. Let's go. I can't wait to get a green screen, honestly. First map of the thumbnail. This is what I call the opposite of clickbait. 349. That's not where Chong... I don't even know how to say that at all. Never confuse politicians with leaders. First map on the thumbnail. Thank you. You are a good man. Yeah, you do usually get that sort of like clickbait for that kind of stuff, don't you? When we talk about great empires, we talk about Roman Mongol empires, Great Britain. Hold my tea, please. God bless you for showing us the thumbnail first. People appreciate that a lot, don't they? It's the small things. General knowledge. The Mongols and the Romans didn't coexist. Sad. Byzantine noises. Wait, what? 100 families own more land than all that own housing combined. Insane. Yeah, that's just when you realise. What is it called? Like the sort of the gap between the rich and the poor, or not even the poor, just the rich and just the working class. It's just fucked, man. It's messed up, but it is what it is, isn't it? Bro said golf fields. Yeah, that's a weird term, isn't it? What do you call them though? Just golf? Golf? What do you call them? Golf courses. Maps are amazing. Instant like, hey, I didn't know they made maps from 77 years ago, lol. But still, that was an interesting one as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you want more stuff like this, let me know, because I do really enjoy these videos. And it just saw me pop. Oh, we're 73k views from 1 million. Let's get to 1 million of that one. That'd be sick. But nah, don't worry about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. More on the way for sure. Until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.